And Joe Trippi, former Howard Dean campaign manager and a Fox News contributor. Matt Schlapp is chairman of the American Conservative Union. You just heard the president, Matt, say we have to speak to Mitch, but according to this Times report, they haven't spoken in weeks.
Well, people who know Mitch McConnell people who know Mitch McConnell well know that he's a man of few words, and he's not exactly a guy who gets real chummy. So it's not surprising to me that they have terse conversations, and it's not surprising to me in the wake of the failed health care vote, where I think both institutions, the White House and the Senate, don't want to take the full measure of blame as to why this didn't happen. And I think for all Republicans across the country, they are very frustrated that after giving the Republicans the majority in the Senate and in the House and in the White House, they can't come through on their #1 campaign promise. It's not a great moment for my party.
Well, the headline in the New York Times, Joe, doesn't ask whether, doesn't suggest that McConnell is wondering whether the president can get anything done. It says McConnell is wondering whether the president can save his presidency. Is it that bad?
Look, I think, yeah, because you get to this thing where even what the president talked about doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. The ACA, the failure to repeal and replace, did not require 60 votes. They needed 50, and they weren't able to get there. And then the one piece of legislation that the president reportedly chastised Mitch McConnell for was the sanctions bill, which got well over 60 votes in the Senate. Didn't need a filibuster to get by, and the president's dressing him down. Reportedly dressing him down for letting that get to his desk. So even the argument that the president made against McConnell and the Senate Republicans doesn't really hold water in the end. And in the end, they need each other. I mean, there is no way to get the kind of things Donald Trump wants to get passed in his agenda to get this through without Mitch McConnell leading the charge in the U.S. Senate. So the entire thing doesn't make much sense. I agree with Matt that McConnell's a man of few words, isn't chummy, and so maybe that's all this is. But this would be pretty alarming, should be pretty alarming in the White House.
The one accomplishment that President Trump has touted many times in campaigning, Matt, is the appointment of Justice Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. It was really Mitch McConnell who made that happen by preventing President Obama from making that appointment.
Yeah, there's a little look. The New York Times has had some amazing reporting this year, but I think this story is off the mark. The fact is this. Mitch McConnell is totally incentivized to repeal Obamacare. Joe is slightly wrong. She can't repeal all of Obamacare through reconciliation, which is the vehicle that only that allows it to pass with only 50 votes. But Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are aligned on the idea that if they don't get these major campaign promises done, they're both in political harm. The fact is this, yes, it's beneficial to both of them, and I think they will continue to work together throughout the year. But remember, Donald Trump is an outsider president. He did not have deep Republican roots at all, and he's a threat to those people who have spent their professional lives working in Congress, working in Washington, D.C., and the very fact that the American people would elect Donald Trump is unnerving to people like Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. So look for a lot more headlines about this troublesome relationship. It is never going to be smooth.
But if it is a circular firing squad among Republicans, Joe, Democrats are just sitting back and watching.
Well, I do think that there would be ways to get some Democratic votes on some of these things. But again, if the Republicans can't put the votes together themselves, there isn't going to be a whole lot of help. I do agree with Matt. Look, the ACA would eventually require to dismantle most of it, a 60-vote margin. But again, how many votes did they take just to do the pieces that they wanted to do, where they only needed 50 votes and they couldn't get those? So again, the fight seems to be within the Republican Party.
I agree with Joe. We had 6 Republicans who changed their vote from the 2015 repeal when they knew it would be vetoed by President Obama. When they knew it would become law, they switched their vote in order to prevent the ACA from being repealed, and that is going to have massive political consequences for those people.
Matt Schlapp and Joe Trippi, thanks for being our guests today.
Good.